Hello. Howdy Lou. Howdy does the Lou. I don't know why, but I really wanted to stretch as soon as I started that. So, it's been a little over a month since I played this, so I might not remember all the little details, but I do believe I remember the majority of the details. So let us resume. I know that I was just about to look at some stuff on the wall when I left last time. Okay, and we're just right into it. Okay, cool. What was it? Oh. Hi. Why are you standing right on top of me, sir?
What are we doing, Holmes?
We are looking around, because I was curious if there was anything else to look at, but I don't think that there is. Okay. Alright, guess I will look at one of these two. I don't remember exactly. What's this one? Alright. Determination of the exact time of Annie Chapman's murder in Hanbury Street. I would have said on, but that's fine. Alright, let's see. So, I would have... Oh, hi. That's not what I was expecting. Excuse me. Alright. So what is this? What is any of this? Are these all just little time bits? Because that's not quite what
We
I
left the station at 6 o'clock and it took us 20 minutes to arrive at Hanbury Street.
Okay. So it's 6:20.
Our arrival at the scene occurred at around 6:20. Given the distance separating the two locations, we can deduce that the corpse wasn't discovered after 6 o'clock and therefore that the murder must have been committed before.
Right. So they assume that it was at 4:30.
Let's put the time of death as assessed by Dr. Phillips on the timeline.
Alright, so 4:30.
The assessment of the time of the murder given by Dr. Phillips and yourself, Watson, 4:30 a.m.
Okay. And then I don't have any other bobs? Or maybe I do. Wasn't quite looking to click on something. What was this? Right. Just little pieces of evidence, I guess. Useful. Okay, what about it? Select from the inventory the dialogue in the two documents which will permit you to determine the time of death, then place the objects or the characters representing these testimonies on the timeline. Listen carefully to Sherlock, which you might ask you to modify them. Once all the icons? Wow. Yeah, icons are properly placed, Sherlock Holmes will ask you to place the knife. Okay, so let's look at this one. What is this? La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Is there a time here? I want a timestamp. Yeah. 6:20 was our arrival, right? Let's see. Okay, well there's no other line. 9 o'clock, the body of the deceased was removed from the mortuary. I don't think that has anything to do with what we're talking about, because it only goes to 6:30, so that's not what we care about. I just gotta point out the 30 stab wounds is just really excessive. Like, 1 might not have done the job. 3, they're probably dead. 30? I don't know why you kept going. Unless you're just insane, which they probably are. So. There's the use document disproof button. I see. I didn't even notice that button there. Just being honest. In documents. Oh, I see. Oh. Well, I'm confused. Where did these other documents come from? Okay, well that makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't understand where these other documents are. So it's like, maybe it's in a dialogue and they just got confused on here. No, it's actually a dialogue. It was just confused. Let's see, so Elong we saw her passing around 5:30. Yes, and then this one, it was morning of the witness got up at 5:15 and went into the yard where the latrine was. It was then 5:20, going back in, yada yada yada. When he passed the front of the church, it was 5:32. So this one as well. Okay. And alright. Look at that, I got stuff I can do now. Let's see. And he hears voices. Miss Long sees a woman speaking to the man near Hanbury. Let's see. I was hoping it would tell me the time. Oh, okay. Let's see. So this one that I'm looking at is leaves to go to work. When did he go to work? Oh, okay. Let's see, I found that one. So going back to the house, witness heard voices from behind the fence. I assume at 5:20. Coming from number 29. The only understood the word was no. Blah, blah, blah. Returned to the yard approximately 4 minutes later. So at 5:24, whereupon hearing random noises. So 5:24, fell against the fence. He departed for work. Then he passed in front of the church at approximately 5:32. I'm not entirely sure if that number is supposed to mean when he left, because it doesn't. Unless that's supposed to mean that that's 5:42. 5:24. Let's see, because there is... I thought that I saw... let's see, so I'm gonna put that at 15? 5:15? Whoop, excuse me.
Our next witness is Albert Kadosh.
Let's go with 5:15. Here's a fall against the fence a few minutes after going back up. I'll put this one at the 30.
Let's place this symbol that represents Kadosh on the timeline.
32.
Kadosh leaves the garden,
okay, so
enters
that one's
his
wrong.
house, then leaves for work, seeing the clock on the Spitalfields church showing 5:32.
So is this 1:20 then?
Albert Kadosh
Okay.
goes down into his garden at approximately 5:20, and on re-entering his home, hears voices in number 29's garden.
Gotcha. Alright, and then this one will be
Let's
24
place
then.
this symbol that represents Kadosh on the timeline.
This one will be 24.
Kadosh goes back down into his garden approximately 4 minutes after having left it, and hears the sound of an impact against the wooden fence.
There we go. And then sees a woman speaking to a man. 5:30. Witness to a certain time. She declares that she heard the clock. Yada yada yada. Okay, so this is all this page is. So I think this one will be 5:30. Maybe.
Now, for the most important part, the testimony of Miss Long. She claims to have seen a woman speaking to a man near 29 Hanbury Street sometime around... what time, Watson?
5:30?
Let us assume, therefore, that Miss Long's testimony is, as is most certainly the case, true. She places her meeting with the victim at around 5:30, claiming to have heard a clock chime on the half hour at the moment when she enters the street.
Cool. Alright, so now I need 2 dialogues, I think? Question mark? Ah, there it is. He didn't look like the police face, so I got confused when it looked like that instead. Excuse me, I said X. That one. There we go. Alright, Richardson leaves his mother's place and arrives at his mother's. Okay, so when does he arrive compared to leave? It was 4:45 when he got there. So 4:45 when he got there. 5 minutes after getting to 29, I had to clip off. So it was 4:45.
Now, let's put the Richardsons' arrival and departure times on the timeline.
Okay.
Now, let's put the Richardsons' arrival and departure times on the timeline. Despite the great respect I have for Dr. Phillips and the value I place on our friendship, my deepest conviction is that both of you are mistaken and that Richardson is in the right and that these two testimonies put down in writing have real worth.
But how? Explain yourself, Holmes.
Remember how you assessed the time of death? You touched the fingers and body of the victim, but it was remarkably cold for this time of year. In addition, the corpse had been drained of bodily fluids. Its heat retention was therefore no longer the same as that of an intact corpse.
Egad! You're right, Holmes.
Gad!
I've had some time to research, Watson.
Given these facts, my first diagnosis may have been off by half an hour, perhaps even an hour.
Thus, we can confirm Richardson's statement and establish that the murder was committed after 4:50 a.m. and not before 4:30 a.m. Excellent, Watson. All our people are now in place.
Yes, but Holmes, Miss Long claims to have seen the victim at around 5:30. But according to Kadosh, someone, most certainly the victim and her murderer, was already in the garden at 5:30.
Excellent observation, Watson. It must be noted, however, that these two witnesses, Long and Kadosh, saw the time shown on the clocks in the area, which are often inaccurate and went by their empirical and, in this case, erroneous estimate of how much time had passed. Thus, neither of these two times can be considered reliable.
Do you mean to say that these two testimonies might match?
Indeed. Let's put Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30. Let's add Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30 a.m. Mr. Kadosh claims to have passed by the Spitalfields Church at 5:32, which, given the distance from 27 Hanbury Street, would mean he was still at home at 5:31. Let's therefore put the end of his testimony at 5:31. Miss Long heard the man say to the victim, "Will you?" to which the victim responded, "Yes," which would suggest that an agreement was reached and that the transaction was imminent. They then proceeded to enter the garden, which puts the voices heard by Kadosh at 5:29. We had thought that Kadosh had left 27 Hanbury Street at 5:31 after having heard an impact against the fence. Thus, 2 minutes passed between the moment when Kadosh entered the house after having been in the garden the first time and the moment when he returns to go out again and leave for work. How long did he estimate this interval to be? 3 to 4 minutes. In light of all this, Watson, we can finally establish the time of Chapman's murder. Now, place the knife at the exact time.
Goodness. Okay. That only said 3 to 4 minutes, so I'm gonna say, like, what? No. You say 3 to 4 minutes, but I'm not you were talking a lot. My brain couldn't quite catch up. Is that a... No, that's not. I was like, is there a log so I can read what they were saying? No. No, there's not. So, okay, so it's gonna be like 3 or 4 minutes is when he went back in, and then a few minutes after that is when it happened. So, like, what, 27 or some shit? No? You were really giving me a hard time here.
Now then, taking into account
okay.
that the local clock isn't exact and that a young man was off by a minute or two in his estimations of his comings and goings, we can confirm Miss Long's testimony and place the time of the crime at approximately 5:30.
But in that case, Holmes, the man that Miss Long saw is none other than...
That's right, Watson. It was the Whitechapel killer.
To think that Miss Long and Kadosh were only a few feet away from him.
Indeed, Watson. Had Miss Long passed just a little closer to the victim and her assassin, or had the young Kadosh popped his head over the fence out of curiosity, the killer would most certainly already be behind bars.
That's some stroke of luck he had there.
I couldn't agree more, Watson. But his luck didn't end there, given the mutilations inflicted upon this poor woman. What must be considered above all is the killer's obvious wish to remove one and only one specific organ. His surgery pinpointed the exact spot, avoiding superfluous incisions. This suggests the man possesses at least a minimal anatomical knowledge.
Are you suggesting a doctor or a butcher?
Perhaps, but the possibilities are still too broad to conclude with any certainty. Now for the motive. Despite my almost complete lack of practical experience on the subject, I have a rather precise idea of the usefulness of a uterus and a vagina. Nonetheless, once they are separated from their usual envelope, I am more circumspect as to the uses one can make of them. What do you think, Watson? We need a board, Watson.
What do you think, Holmes?
We need a board, Watson.
I mean, there's a board right here. Gotcha. Let's see. Specimen for the sole purpose of study, black magic, cannibalism, trophy, or money. No indication would suggest any type of ritual. So I'm gonna put that as
black magic?
Watson, this line of investigation is far too vague. We don't have a single clue in support of such a motive. We can eliminate this hypothesis.
To apply for the human organ trafficking.
Money, quite simply.
Even if this motive seems incongruous, we're in no position to deny or affirm it until we know whether a market for human organs exists.
For this motive, it would have been easy to quickly remove something from the Buck Rose victim. I'm gonna skip that one for a second. In the medical university environment, students easily have access to a number of specimens. I was gonna put that as specimen for the sole purpose of study, but it makes it sound like... I mean, I think that one makes the most sense.
Perhaps it was intended as a study specimen.
I have little faith in that theory. Hardly anything was taken from the Bucks Row victim.
I'm not entirely sure what that little icon means. Dementia can push men to commit incredibly horrible acts, or vile acts. Cannibalism?
Holmes, what if it was cannibalism?
Even if the idea is unbearable, we can't ignore it as a possibility.
And then this one would go for
A
trophy.
desire for some sort of morbid trophy.
I'd be inclined to dismiss this motive. If this were the case, why would nothing have been removed from the Bucks Row victim?
Something tells me that there's something wrong with this. So it could be a yes here.
Elementary.
There we go. It could be a
What
yes here.
emerges from these possible motives for having removed the uterus from the second victim is that they imply that the killer could have carried out the same thing on the Bucks Row victim, yet didn't. This brings us to a terrible conclusion. Our killer has evolved in the space of only a few days, and if that's the case, had he already struck before the first murder to which we attribute him? And if the killer strikes again, what atrocity awaits his next victim?
We have to stop him, Holmes.
We shall do our best. This recent business of jar filled with formalin and of the American doctor might be a lead. Watson, inquire among medical circles to ascertain if there is a black market for human organs. The chances are slim, but this must be pursued.
Very well. What about you, Holmes?
I will send word to Inspector Aberline regarding our recent conclusions. I should also like to become a gas man and pay a visit to Bluto at the Wasp's Nest.
Understood, Holmes. I think one of my old university colleagues who works at the London hospital will be able to help me. I shall write him a note at once. He should be able to see me during the day. Afterwards, shall we meet here?
Yes, Watson. See you later, and good luck.
I must get to the London hospital where my old university colleague works.
Oh, fine. I don't know why I am so yawny all of a sudden. Like, I was fine before I started streaming, then as soon as I started streaming, it was just like, you are tired. For no reason, all of a sudden. Why?
This is the coal bucket in which Holmes keeps his cigars. What a funny idea.
Oh, that's right. With the red around it, that means that I've looked at it already. Okay, well, there's nothing really to look around here for, so I guess I'll go ahead.
I must get to the London hospital,
and
where
skedoodle.
my old university colleague works.
I need to go to... There we
To
go.
the London hospital, quick.
To the hospital.
My colleague agreed to meet me here in one of the London hospital rooms reserved for students.
Oh, yay.
Ah, John, you're there already. Punctual as always. Tell me, you don't seem to be in good shape. Is it possible that your recent marriage is making you this morose?
Ah, you know me well, Andrew. No, it's a strange and terrible affair that concerns me. Have you read my note?
Yes, I admit that I was surprised. It just so happens that I, too, was asking questions about our morgue.
What do you think? Have you heard of any organ trafficking within?
No, John. No doubt there exists some exchange between colleagues. Not quite legal, of course, but nothing that can qualify as trafficking. Since the Anatomy Act of 1832, which permitted the use of unclaimed corpses for science, the black market trade was definitely halted. There are sufficient subjects available for all practitioners and students. Of this I can confirm.
Well, organ trafficking as a lucrative trade is out of the question. Then what is troubling you with the morgue?
You are talking about trafficking organs, but I suspect there is trade in whole bodies.
What do you mean to say? Whole bodies are disappearing?
Well, it's confidential, but I know of your discretion and your friendship with the famous Sherlock Holmes. I can tell you that a few corpses have recently disappeared from the hospital morgue. Cadavers that were intended for dissection. That is to say, not claimed. Poor, unknown people. If a single corpse had disappeared, it might have been a bad joke. There are many students who pass through here. It's even a meeting spot. For the majority, they're here to work. A few come here in secret to practice. It also happens that instruments or organs go missing. Nothing alarming, but so many corpses. It's very troubling.
But the hospital doctors aren't doing anything?
No. That is to say, they would prefer not to call the police at this point. An investigation would no doubt result in the suspension of authorizations for the use of unclaimed corpses. Do you think that you could intercede on our behalf with Sherlock Holmes to clear up this situation?
Which corpses are missing?
I don't know exactly, but I can make an exact list if you would like to wait here for a few minutes. Feel free to look around the room while you wait. It'll bring back memories.
Thank you, Andrew.
I think I'm tired because I closed the window because it was making my face on my face cam look so white. So I closed it to try and make it to where I could actually
It's
see.
here that students come to carry out their experiments.
See myself, that is. But I think that it being darker has made me sleepy.
It's here that students come to carry out their experiments.
Useful. Can you stop telling me the same thing?
This rag is full of grease. It certainly wasn't used for a dissection. Was someone doing some mechanical work here? These wheeled trolleys are very handy for laying out surgical instruments.
I don't really care for the bottled babies. I like that skull in the background, though. It looks nice.
The last lesson must have been about the human heart. And for a class of beginners, I expect, as this diagram is rather rudimentary.
Oh, goodness. I apologize. I am so sleepy for some reason. This looks so gross, though. Just saying.
It's here that students come to carry out their experiments. An encyclopedia of anatomy. A page on the human heart is dog-eared. Let's see.
I've never heard it called dog-eared. That's interesting. What about it? Cool. I don't know what that does for me. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, I missed this book.
This surgical instrument resembles a screwdriver. How amusing. It might come in handy. I will return it later.
Lol. Then I guess just leave? Or wait. There's something on this shelf. Oh, look, a heart.
There is a heart in this jar. Based on its colouring, it hasn't been there long. And it looks like the drawing on the board. This jar contains 2 lids with combination locks.
Useful. Sure. Is this something I need to use? I don't know. Anyway, so let me go look at the heart over here. I think all of the thingies are the same, all the numbers pointing to it. Let me look at... Does this help me at all? I don't know. It doesn't really look like it's gonna help me at all with determining what this, determining? Sorry, the word just sounded stupid. Determining what the thing is.
There is a heart in this jar. This jar contains 2 lids with combination locks. I am missing some information.
That's what I was thinking. It looks like I need a document of some sort. Probably this one. Use this one as proof, apparently. Oh, okay. I mean, that works. I should have realized that was what it was gonna do. I'm not sure what other thing I would need, though. I don't think any of this would make sense. Is there anything... Whoopsie, I didn't mean inventory, excuse me. I meant clothes. Was there anything else that I missed besides leaving? I'm just... Oh, there's something on the floor.
A message. I'll be... Why the devil was it hidden here?
There we go. Okay. So let me...
An old prescription. Poor child. So young, yet terminally ill. Strange, someone scrawled something. Part of it is in Latin. These are instructions, it would seem. There is a heart in this jar. This jar contains 2 lids with combination locks.
Anyway, I was going to wait to read it until I actually got here, because there was no real point in me doing it otherwise. Alright, so we got the vena cava superior, which is found the inferior. Where is the superior one? Superior means that it's up higher. Oh, right there. I didn't realize it was at the very top of the paper for some reason. Alright, so that would be 1. Well, actually, it's blue, so maybe that would be blue then, because it's a blue artery or whatever. I don't know what that's called. Yes? Anyway, the valva... Let's see, valva. I'm just looking. Valva, there you are. That's gonna be 5. Oh, that's the wrong way.
Look, there was a bit
Okay.
of paper stuck between the two lids.
Okay. Got a 6. Okay. I don't know what the 6 is supposed to be, but okay. Then the Artirum Civicisrum. Let's see. Here you are. So it's gonna be 8 for the blue. And then the I don't know why, but I really wanted to say pneumococcal pneumonia. That's not what that says. Most definitely not. And there's also, like, hardly any of those letters are in that words. Yes. I was gonna say just say word, but then I realized that there was 2, so my brain just added an S. Yeah. So that's gonna be 2? Yes.
Incredible. Someone has hidden a magnet in this heart. But to what end?
I don't know. Let's find out, I guess. Okay, so I just got a magnet. Okay. Also, apparently I used... Oh, I see. What was I doing? Oh, yes. How am I supposed to figure out what this magnet... Oh.
Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here.
Why is this desk randomly black?
Incredible. There is a magnet with a hook behind this pane of glass. I am in need of something. Incredible. There is. I am in need of something.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah,
There is
yeah,
I am
yeah,
in need
yeah.
of something.
Goodness gravy. Okay. Ouch. I'm gonna take this one instead. Can these touch? No. Okay, good to know. Ooh. Ouch. Can I go to... No. Can I just... Whoops. No. How do... Let's see. Because I can't go up another one. So I can go this way. But then I can't go down, otherwise the other one will hit up. Can I go... Because it said it didn't want to be touched, it seemed. Let me just confirm. Oh, no, they're okay with touching. Okay, I must have just mislooked. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. I was just confused.
There, all done. Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
Now, where am I supposed to use this little hitch?
These wheeled trolleys are very handy for laying out surgical instruments. It's here that students...
Where do I use... I can go both directions, but that's not... Oh, can I still use it on there? I didn't think I could.
A hole! I could make out something inside, but how to get it out? I will need a hook. I found it! A coded message. I do believe I will need Holmes.
Here is the list, John. The missing corpses are those of a woman, 40 years old, beginning of August, another, 55 years old, 2 weeks ago, and recently, a young woman. These corpses had nothing in common except that they didn't have any apparent lesions.
All of this is very troubling. Well, I think that I have all of the information possible. and I promise that I will do what I can to clear up this business. I must leave you, my friend, and
In the name of our friendship,
Please, don't go so stare.
to be sure. Thanks again, Andrew.
it is I who must thank you, John. Don't forget to keep me up to date and say hello to your charming wife for me.
Count on me, Andrew.